Hi guys, welcome to AdamMcKola TV. I am Adam and this is the Manchester United against Chelsea Premier League preview. Premier League football is back and I cannot wait to be at Old Trafford Sunday afternoon for kickoff between the two clubs. Obviously, we're going into it. We're talking Frank Lampard against Ole Gunnar Solskjaer in the dugouts. We're talking Man United against Chelsea on the pitch, and there's a little bit of negativity from Manchester United fans at the moment. And I totally understand it. While we've seen our defence improve, and we've seen our defence improve with great signings in terms of Aaron Wan Bissaka at right back and Harry Maguire at centre half, we've seen our midfield get worse. We've lost Ander Herrera. We haven't replaced him. And we've seen our front line lose Romelu Lukaku and only gain Daniel James. And that's a lot of pressure for a young lad. Of course, we've got the likes of Mason Greenwood coming through, Axel Tuanzebe in the defence as well, who will obviously participate in the squad and provide competition for places. But those players are still very young. They're still at an early stage in their career. And is it too much pressure to be heaping on those players? Those are just some of the things we'll be discussing today in the Manchester United Chelsea preview here on AdamMcKola TV as we look ahead towards the new season and we look ahead towards this game. We'll be speaking about my predicted 11 as well. I'll have that on the screen for you at some point in the show. What's the key battles against Chelsea? Because obviously I feel like Chelsea, despite the fact that they haven't had the best of summers, they haven't been able to sign players. Besides all of that, I am still wary of Chelsea. I'm still wary of Chelsea being able to come and cause Manchester United problems. They've got long-term injuries to Callum Hudson-Odoi and of course Ruben Loftus-Cheek, which they'll miss those players. But they've brought in Perisic, they've signed Kovacic on a full-term basis, and Kante will be back in his usual position. So Chelsea will still provide a threat to Manchester United, and we can't be taking them too lightly as we go into this game. But it's a huge game, and I quite like the fact that we come into the Premier League campaign with a huge game. We're not going into a game that we're going to take our eye off the ball, take it too easily. We're coming into it and immediately we have to hit the ground running. And if we can get a victory, it obviously gives us a massive confidence boost going into the second game of the season against Wolves away from home, a place where we didn't win at all last season and we played there twice. So are we approaching the season with confidence? Get your thoughts in the comments below. Throughout this show, I'll be diving into the comments as well. If you're not watching live, then not to worry. You can still obviously get your comments in and I'll dive into the comments at some point as well. So do that down below. United, it's one of those fixtures you always get excited for. And going away to Stamford Bridge would have been a dreadful start for United. I would have hated the prospect of having an away trip to Stamford Bridge first game of the season. But at home, in fact, I always give home advantage to the team in these games because I always feel the home, the added advantage of playing in front of a home crowd kind of gives you an edge in these games as well. If Chelsea were at home, I'd consider them the favourites. With United at home, I consider us the favourites. But that midfield battle is going to be very, very key for us. How important is it that United get off to a good start? Well, with all the doom and gloom around the club over the transfer window, and I don't think United fans have complained about the actual players we've signed. It's the players we haven't signed and the players we've lost. Obviously, over the summer and over the back end of last season, we saw Glazer out protests getting obviously louder and louder on social media. There wasn't anything of that at home in this football stadium. Now, will we see that start to transcend to the football pitch and to the football stadium if results don't go the right way? That's a possibility as well. And the whole club could be in a whole whirlwind of negativity if results don't go right for us. And that's why it's imperative we get off to a good start, which leaps a whole load of pressure onto the players and the manager yet again. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer talking today, and he's confident Paul Pogba will be able to start. Alexis Sanchez isn't available for selection. Now, I keep forgetting about Alexis Sanchez, but we kind of have to rely on him now. There's rumours today that he's going to Roma, and United have offered him on loan with the option of United paying some of his wages. Now, firstly, if we were going to get rid of Sanchez, surely it's to get him off the wage bill. I don't see the value in us sending him away to another club and paying some of his wages when we're quite short for attackers as it is. We've kind of missed the boat with letting Sanchez go. If we're going to do it when we can sign players. doing it now would just be stupid. We kind of have to rely on him providing us an option. And Alexis Sanchez is a weird one. Now, he's obviously not going to be involved this weekend. Probably for a few weeks till he's match fit. But with Sanchez, you've got a player that at his best is absolutely fantastic and ready-made for the system that Ollie wants to play. But will he ever rediscover that form now? Throughout the summer when I've been speaking about Manchester United players, Manchester United forwards, I've been forgetting to mention Alexis Sanchez because I simply forget that he even exists half the time. He hasn't really provided anything to Manchester United since coming. And he's our highest paid player. Will he deliver for United? Will he, pay us back for that? I don't think so. I don't know what you guys think in the comments. Do you think Sanchez will come good? But I just can't see him getting over 10 goals this season, which is what we should be at the very least expecting from him to hit double figures. And I just can't see it. Will he be fit? Will he be hungry enough? Will he be sharp enough? Has he just lost that edge that made him such a fantastic player? Because the way he played, high energy, high enthusiasm, running into all these challenges. We saw with Wayne Rooney, your decline can be very, very quickly. And maybe that's what we're seeing with Sanchez. That's what I think we're seeing with Sanchez. I hope he proves me wrong, and I hope he provides us an option, because we do need options going into this season, especially in those front positions. Martial and Rashford could have their seasons of their lives and still not be enough, because they've got to stay fit, they've got to stay consistent. We're playing in the Europa League, Thursdays, Sundays. Are they going to be able to deal with that? Then Mason Greenwood obviously comes into the equation. Is that enough for a 60-game season? It's hard to tell. So we do need Alexis Sanchez to come good, hopefully. And if he doesn't, then it's going to be a difficult campaign for United in terms of scoring goals. That's the thing for me. United's goal scoring, where is that? We've tightened up at the back. Hopefully they perform. But in midfield and in an attack, we've got worse. Now, are those youngsters going to come through and prove something and provide something to the team? I really hope so. But it's a lot of pressure. But like Alan Hansen once said and was proven to be wrong, you don't win nothing with kids. And can we surprise people with these players? Because Ollie is... I know he's getting knocked a lot recently, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. And he kind of has no... I'd rather Ollie be positive about what he has and not, burn all his bridges with his players like Jose did, and be disappointed with the board behind the scenes and be upset with not getting the signings behind the scenes, because we don't want him to, to knock the confidence of the players that we're relying on now for the campaign. Yes, a few of them may leave, but the players that we've got here, they're the players that we've got for the season, or at least until January. So I'm glad. I know he's getting stick for it, but I'm glad he's coming out and saying, he's confident in his players. He said Greenwood's going to play a lot, and when he plays, he'll score. He's talking about Rashford, Martial, Pogba isn't a problem. I don't know why he's constantly asked about Pogba's attitude to Ben. It's a fucking stupid one. I understand getting asked about his future when Pogba kind of brought that on himself with him and his agent, but asked about his attitude constantly. There's never been a bad word said about Pogba's attitude by Ollie, by Jose, by anyone. So I don't know why that's always a thing. Make sure you're hitting that like button, guys. Make sure you're subscribing to AdamMcKola TV as well. This is the Manchester United against Chelsea preview. Big season ahead for the Reds. Big season. How are we feeling approaching this game? Obviously, we didn't get everything that we wanted in the summer transfer window, and it was disappointing. But we go into this game, and I feel our first 11 is all. I'm confident in that first 11. A little bit unsure about our midfield, as you'd expect, but I'm confident in our first 11. I'm not confident in the depth that we have. So in this game, fresh season, I'm actually quite confident for it. I think we can beat Chelsea, and I think we will beat Chelsea. I'll give you my score prediction later, and I'll give you my starting 11 later. But I think we can beat them, and we will beat them. So I'm feeling quietly confident about this game, not about the season as a whole. I think it's going to be a battle for top 4. And if we get top 4, we probably would have had a good season. I just feel Ollie hasn't been backed adequately in this transfer window, and it should have been more. It's amazing how slow we are to do deals, get deals over the line. Realistically, we should have had Wan Bissaka, Maguire done like that with Daniel James, and then we can focus on something else. But we didn't. Dilly-dallied, lost players and haven't replaced them. Brought in players that we've needed, but it feels one step forward, 2 steps back. But could Ollie put in his faith in these kids? I mean, we all love that, seeing youngsters get their chance. So that's going to give us some excitement. It's going to get the fans behind the team, the fans behind the manager. So it could also be a good thing as well. But realistically, it's going to be a difficult one. The midfield battle for me is key as well. Now, McTominay he's become first choice if we're playing a 2 with Pogba. McTominay has become first choice with Pogba. Now, you remember what I said about McTominay last season, and he's proving me wrong because he's actually turning out to be a decent squad player, a decent squad addition. He's looking good for United. And I'm not gutted to see him in the starting 11. I think we need more quality, and he shouldn't be starting week in, week out. But with the selection we have, and unless Fred or Andreas or Matic step up to the plate and start performing consistently in the league, McTominay is becoming one of the players that is going to start most games with Paul Pogba. So fair play to him. It's both shows our inadequacies in the transfer window and also how well he has done. He's taken his chance. Rashford's taken his chance. Will we see another season from a Mason Greenwood or an Angel Gomez where they break through and say, I'm in this squad now for the foreseeable future. I don't need no loan move, no nothing. I'm in this squad. Because that's what we're going to have to hope for right now, guys. Got around 600 people watching. Thank you for watching and thank you for tuning in. We got Mersab in the comments. We got Liquid saying Sanchez looks washed up. Ramil thinks McTominay is absolute flames. I think Martial should stay on the left with Greenwood or Rashford up top. Axel get a chance, you think, says my cousin. I do think Axel Tuanzebe will get a chance this season. I do think Axel will get a chance. He deserves to get a chance. Now, Lindelof and Maguire should be our top 2 centre-halves. Tuanzebe should be third. Bailly's out injured. Smalling, Jones, Rojo should be 4th, 5th and 6th in whatever order. But Tuanzebe should be the centre-half that's coming off the bench or in rotation with Lindelof. Because I think he's incredible on the ball. He's good vocally in terms of organising and leading. He's good with the ball at his feet and bringing it forward. Massive confidence from last season, in the season that he had with Aston Villa, getting promotion. So I think Axel can be another one of those players, like I said about possibly Greenwood coming through and showing that he's going to be a first team squad player for the foreseeable future. Axel's one that has a big chance now this season as well. And that's why I look at our defence as being improved by the additions of Wan Bissaka, Maguire and Axel Tuanzebe. That's what I look at. It was good to see Timothy Fosu-Mensah with the squad on their meal out as well. Hopefully when he gets fit, he can come in and provide an option in the squad and take an opportunity, because he's a player that, we had high hopes for. He's got potential. That injury was a massive one. His loan deals didn't go to plan maybe, but is a player that can hopefully take the chance of Manchester United having a thin squad this season. Going into the campaign, we've got a thin squad, and youngsters are going to be looking around thinking, I'm going to take my chance and get in there and make this team spot my own. So that's what we're looking at this season, and I'm happy with the way Ollie's signed players. Maguire wanted to come, Wan Bissaka wanted to come, Daniel James really wanted to come. I want to see us do that. I just wish we'd be more proactive in the market. You hear talk now, the brief again coming out. We're looking for a sporting... Mate, we're not looking for a technical director. If you're going to do that, surely you bring one in before the summer starts so you can get to work on the window. Now the window's closed, you want to bring one in. It's a weird one. Ed Woodward with his constant briefs, trying to appease fans and appease the media. It is really, really frustrating to see as a Manchester United fan. Thank you for tuning in, guys. Thank you for watching. What do we think about Chelsea? Any possible threats there? The midfield battle is important, and I think that's one area of the pitch where they're probably better than us. I think with the addition of Maguire, Wan Bissaka, we could say our defence and goalkeepers equal to, if not better than theirs. Our front line, obviously they got Giroud, which is probably the most experienced goal scorer out of both teams. But beyond that, their front line is looking real weak with Callum Hudson-Odoi being out. Obviously, Ruben Loftus-Cheek being out. So you'd feel United have more firepower going into this game on Sunday. In the midfield area, though, they win that because they've got Kante, they've got Kovacic, they've got this, that. They've got options there. We've got Pogba. And if Kante is back in his usual position, which you'd expect him to be, Ross Barkley, another option for them. And I believe he's had a good pre-season. So you're looking at that and you're thinking they've got better in midfield. And maybe we're going to have to bypass the midfield and focus on hitting them with pace. Maybe over the top or whatever. But let me know. Poppin says our defence is better than Chelsea's 100%. No Hazard, no problem unless Ashley Young is playing, says Danny Watson. Chelsea are lacking in firepower, although Romeo says Willian is scary. Trust in Ollie, says one of the other comments, which has now been moved on. Kante is out. Is that true? Kante is out. If that's the case, then I'll say we're pretty even in midfield. If Kante's out, I'll have to check that actually. Probably should have checked Chelsea's team news before jumping on to do a preview, but here we go. Guys, keep your thoughts, keep your comments coming in as we're discussing Manchester United against Chelsea. The Premier League is back, and this is a time where we all feel giddy with excitement for the campaign. We all say we're going to win the league, although not many Man United fans are doing that right now. Look, it could be a good season. I'm going to try and get my optimistic hat on. If Greenwood comes good, if we don't get any injuries, if Fred finally delivers to that £52 million signing we thought, if Sanchez can provide something to this team, and our defence comes good, we could have a good season. But we're relying on no injuries whatsoever. We can't be getting injuries. Let's see. Lampard gave Kante his first minutes of pre-season against Borussia Mönchengladbach last weekend in what was his final pre-season friendly of the summer. The Frenchman has been building up full fitness since suffering an injury ahead of the Europa League final. We have Kante fit, but if he's match fit is the question I will have to decide right up until the end. Everyone else is pretty much fit. We know the ones we know are outstanding. Willian is working to be fit and it's probably going to come slightly too soon for Willian. So Willian could be out. Kante's touch and go. Rudiger's the same. So those are the players that could be missing for Chelsea against Manchester United. Now, then, let's get stuck into talking about starting 11 against Chelsea for Manchester United. Now, I have got my new little graphic up here. Here's the graphic for the Manchester United team that I think will start against Chelsea. It's David De Gea in goal, Wan Bissaka, Lindelof, Harry Maguire to make his Manchester United, Old Trafford and Premier League debut all at once. It's his debut for Manchester United. Luke Shaw at left back, McTominay, Pogba, Mata, Lingard, Rashford and Anthony Martial. I think we're going to play that way. Now that could almost, we could see that turn into a diamond of sorts if McTominay dropped deep, Pogba, Mata and Lingard drop more central, and then Rashford and Martial up top through the middle. That could happen. We could see Daniel James start, but I don't think he will. Or Mason Greenwood start in that Jesse Lingard position that I've put there. So what do you guys think about that 11? And who do you think will start for Manchester United? I don't think James will start in this game. Matthew says no matter. United going to get a shot on, says Arctic Gamer. I hope Greenwood gets a start, says Master Gaming. Lingard at 10 and James on the wing. I wouldn't be surprised to see that. Michael says Lingard out for James. I think that James could play right mid and Lingard could play CAM. Says another comment, which is an interesting perspective as well. That defence though, says Joe. And it is actually great to look at that, isn't it? Victor Lindelof, who's come along fantastically well. Harry Maguire, big old slabhead in the middle as well. With Aaron Wan Bissaka, one of, if not the best right back in the Premier League. And then Luke Shaw, United's player of the year. At left back, that is a pretty good defence with David De Gea in between the sticks behind them. You'd like to think he won't have a season like last season. And then in that midfield, Pogba, absolutely fantastic. But it's the depth and the player that comes in beside him. Is Fred going to, become the player that we bought? Is McTominay going to stand up and become even better? Is Pereira going to finally become a Manchester United player? Matic, what's going to happen with him? He looks like he's just on his way out, if you ask me. And he shouldn't really be relied on to start games. So when you're looking at that, you've got to hope on McTominay and Fred. Really, that's who we're hanging our hopes on. And I think McTominay is good for games like this. He's high energy, he's high intensity. He gets all over the pitch, covers every blade of grass, gets in his challenges and releases the ball well. So, yeah, happy to see him start in this game. But it's going to be a difficult task against the likes of Kante if he starts, Kovacic, etc. I think the only positions we're looking at is potentially that three in behind. Ollie could go with a midfield three and include Fred, which wouldn't surprise me, and then play Lingard, Rashford and Martial, or could bring in Daniel James like a few of you suggested in the comments. Those are the few options that he has. Calling him Slabhead isn't slagging him off. Jamie Vardy and his mates and all that call him Slabhead. That's his nickname. So it's not. Anyway, Greenwood from the bench, says McDonald. What about Fred and Pereira? Yeah, just discussed them. We are hoping Fred comes good. Let's hope he can. Not sure if he will. Max Source is going to win midfielder of the season. Sanchez to surprise everyone, says Dylan Roos. How many people think Sanchez is actually going to come good? I'm going to put my hand up and say no. But let me know what you guys are thinking. Fred is as good as gone, says Bojan, who don't think Fred is going to come good. McSauce with the Flames, says Clinton. As of our track record for the last 6 years of being players injured and taking into account the fast-paced counter-attack style of volley, I think we are in for trouble. That's a possibility. Sanchez still there, says Deadly Bloomans. That's how I feel most of the time about Alexis Sanchez, mate. I'm never sure if he's going to be about or not for Manchester United. But that is my predicted 11 for the game. Let me know what yours is in the comments below. Greenwood's position, Matrez, is his number 9. But I assume he could come in on that Jesse Lingard position if we played this formation as well. He might have to be used through the middle if Rashford or Martial, unfit or out of form, or touch wood they don't pick up any injuries. But that's the way I see us going against Chelsea. Get that 2 in midfield with Pogba giving a little bit of a freedom to roam. Get Mata in there stringing things together. Jesse and Rashford providing pace and energy around him. Sometimes, like I said, don't be surprised if we go with, Rashford goes and supports Martial through the middle. Jesse just drops inside. I think Jesse's key for the press. Very key for the press. And it may be a case that Jesse don't start this. And Mata starts the home games and Jesse starts the away games. So there's that as well. Keep your thoughts coming in. Keep your comments coming in on Manchester United against Chelsea. And did someone just comment, what would your 11 be, Adam? Come on, Digger. You can see it right next to my face. You don't need to ask that question when the thing's there. Over 900 people watching now. Thank you for tuning in to AdamMcKola TV. Like I said, make sure you're liking the video. Make sure you're subscribing as well. We're going to have more regular content on the channel. As you've seen over the last few weeks, actually, we have had more regular content on the channel. And I'm going to keep that up as well. So don't stress. It's going to be coming. We're going to have a match day vlog from Chelsea. I might do a live stream after the game from Old Trafford. I don't know how you guys are feeling about that one. Whether you want that or not, let me know in the comments. And then I'll have the Aftermath live the day after from home as we sit here. Maybe bring Dean back in. Me and Dean need to get making some stuff again. And then I think I'm going to move the Weekly United to Monday. So we'll have the Weekly United. Then we'll have, obviously, the more content throughout the week. Obviously, our game's on the Monday, so I'll have to try and fill in some gaps with some stuff. So if you've got any ideas for a top 5, top 10, or any other random content, get that in the comments below as well, and I'll try and get that out there to fill in the gaps next week. I'm going to meet up with Steve as well, make another video with him. So if you've got any ideas for things we can do for both of our channels, let me know. But right now we're talking Manchester United, we're talking Chelsea, we're talking the Premier League football returning. This is my 11. David De Gea in goal, Aaron Wan Bissaka, Lindelof, Maguire, Luke Shaw, McTominay, Pogba, Mata, Lingard, Rashford and Anthony Martial. And how important is it that Anthony Martial and Marcus Rashford have a very good season this season? It is vital they have a good season this season. We need them to deliver now. Now, I've joked about this on the podcast and on other things with full-time Devils that I think remember 06-07 for Rooney Ronaldo where everything just clicked. This is going to be the time for Rashford and Martial. Everything needs to click for them this season. Ollie's given them a lot of chances. He's given them a lot of responsibility. Just what they wanted. Just what fans of those players wanted as well. They've got it now. They're going to get game time in the position that they like. In the positions that they like. Now's their time to prove themselves. I've seen a willingness to adapt and improve from Martial. His finishing is amazing. His footwork is incredible. His movement has to improve. And I've seen a little bit of improvement in that in pre-season. Rashford, on the other hand, his movement off the ball, his energy, everything's fantastic. Maybe just getting a little bit more clinical and ruthless in front of goal. If those two can sharpen up this season, defences are going to have a lot of problems. A lot of problems. And then if you bring in the likes of Greenwood, Daniel James off the bench when defences are tired, that's a problem for anyone. So there is reason to be hopeful and confident, but we need these two players to absolutely set the world alight this campaign. It is imperative. For them as well, it's imperative. I'm just plugging my charger back in as well before we lose the live stream. But that's what those guys are saying. Stacker says he agrees with McTominay over Matic. Yes, Scott McTominay has to play in this game. I think his energy will be vital. His enthusiasm, everything will be important in these big games. And that's why I think he'll get the nod over Fred. I think Matic should be third, fourth choice at best in terms of who plays alongside Pogba. And I think because we're lacking depth in midfield, we kind of have to go with a midfield 2. Because if we go with a midfield 3, we're playing pretty much all of our midfield. So that's a bit of a worry as well. But yeah, this has been the Manchester United-Chelsea preview. I suppose it's time to get my score prediction in. I'm going to go Manchester United 2, Chelsea 0. Then we're going to get off to a good start, get a good win under our belts. I'm going to go Rashford to score and Martial, so them both to score. Greenwood to come off the bench and look good as well. Hit the post. So that's my prediction for this game, 2-0. And let me know your predictions. I'll read a few of them out before I head off now. And then, make sure you're keeping it locked over the weekend for more content, live reaction from Old Trafford after the game, a match day vlog after that, the aftermath the day after the game, and plenty more like the Weekly United as well coming on Monday. Get your score predictions in. I'm going 2-0 with Rashford and Martial scoring, and I want to see your score predictions right about now. I think David De Gea will be the captain against Chelsea at the weekend. But yeah, let me know your score predictions, guys. As I said, going to read a few of those out now. McDonald says 3-1. Christopher says 2-2. Luke says 2-0. Danny also says 2-0. Borchavez says 3-1. Hold tight, Borchavez. We will lose this match 3-0, says Keegan, who's pretty pessimistic about this one. Any more score? 3-1, says Bojan. Mata, Shaw and Mason. 1-1, says Lucas and Jamie. Sayesh says 2-1 United. Gideon says 2-0. And 1-4 Little Huno. 2-0 says Yasin. 3-1 says Astrop. 3-0 says Heron. 1-1 says Lucas. And G says it's going to be a draw. I'm saying it's going to be 2-0 Manchester United. Let me know your thoughts, your comments, everything in the comments below. Make sure you're keeping it locked to AdamMcKola TV throughout the rest of the season and the rest of the weekend as Premier League football returns, Manchester United returns, and we're back at Old Trafford. I've been AdamMcKola. I'm out of here.